In 2006, Game Freak and Chunsoft Spike released a Pokemon game called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team and Red Rescue Team. Since then, this series has become somewhat of a well-loved series. Mostly by fans, not by critics. Critics, it's a mixed bag. So when Game Freak announced that they were remaking Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team as Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX for the Nintendo Switch, I was interested. This game came out around the same time I got my first Nintendo DS Lite, and I had a lot of fun playing this game, and the personality quiz was a pain in the ass when I was trying to get a certain Pokemon. But ultimately, I enjoyed Blue Rescue Team. Now, I'd expect that a game that is remade almost a decade later, more than a decade later, would have tons of QOL changes and be a superior version of the original. And Mystery Dungeon DX kind of lives up to that. It's kind of hard to say, personally. I think it's a great game. If you like the Mystery Dungeon series, you'll have fun with this game. However, there are small things that add up over time, and it became a little less about enjoying the gameplay and whatever story there is, and more about how much these things are going to irk me when I have to scale 99 floors of a dungeon. So let's start off with the good. Gameplay is roughly the same. Some moves are more improved, and a lot of Pokemon start off with more diverse movesets. For my playthrough, I had Trico as my main Pokemon and Mudkip as my partner. Trico has a very diverse move pool in the start of the game, and it makes trekking through a lot of the early parts of the game a lot easier. Blast Seeds have received buffs, which made them stronger for God knows what reason, and being able to choose when you want to revive Pokemon is nice, because now my Reviver Seeds aren't going to be used up by Mr. Escort Rattata over there. Also, being able to trek through a dungeon without when you lose your partner, or you die instead and it switches to your partner, is also very helpful and a nice QOL change. Being able to stack up jobs to take on is also pretty nice, because in the original you had to go to the bulletin board, pick which jobs you wanted, then go to your mail list and accept each job before you were able to take them on. And if you didn't do that, then you couldn't complete the job, which is stupid. I think the pacing felt a lot quicker, but it's not that much. It's not really faster than the main game. Though changing Uproar Forest from, I believe, 10 floors or 13 floors to about 4 is very helpful, considering the fact that the dungeon solely exists for a single item that you need to get in it. I personally found that this game early on appealed to a lot of my interests, I guess, or like QOL interests. Being able that your partner can use orange berries on you, things like that. It's a lot nicer. However, there are a lot of things that just don't make sense to me. First of all, visually, art style, beautiful. Beautiful art style. Looks a lot like the essential concept arts and art that you see on the game's menu. It's nice, but the animations are just, there's something off about them. Like, they're stiff. They're incredibly stiff. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I feel like it kind of fits how the game looks visually, but like they're so weird to look at if you're like watching it, even from like just bland general animations can be kind of stiff, and I'm not sure if that's to replicate the way the pixel art kind of, or the pixelated style worked, or if it's just probably a design decision, which is the same thing, but it's one of those two, and I don't think it's laziness. I think it's just a design decision, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's weird sometimes. It fits the game, but it's just, there's something about it, and I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong with it. Next up, another kind of problem that I had with the game was that the big Pokemon. The Pokemon used to have sizes in Mystery Dungeon. Some would be 1, 2, 3, or 4. Right? Now, here's a huge problem. Not really spoilers. You can get Rayquaza in this game. When I got Rayquaza, he takes up like huge space. You cannot push big Pokemon. I don't know who made this decision, but you just can't push them. And it's like, why? Why can't I push them? When you change the game from the original DS versions of the game, and I believe the 3DS ones as well, though I remember those a lot less, because to me they were a lot less memorable. When you change the game so that you can, instead of when you press towards your partner, you don't go through them, you push them. And it turns into this stilted tile by tile walk, instead of just letting me go through my partner. I don't know why, I just can't do that. It makes no sense to me. It feels like it would flow a lot better than me having to hold the B button as I walk to move through things instead of pushing them. And then they get into range of enemy Pokemon and then they die. And that's not what I fucking wanted. But, putting that aside, you can't push big Pokemon for literally no reason. And that's stupid. Really doesn't help when you're trying to funnel Pokemon down a hallway, and maybe that's the reason they made that change, so it's not that easy to do anymore, but why does this change exist? I just don't see a good enough reason for that to be part of the gameplay. It just messes up the entire feeling of it. I'm not sure if the big Pokemon thing are supposed to have drawbacks because they're supposed to be so powerful. One of the big problems with me saying that is that when you compare the stats of Rayquaza to my Sceptile, who has, you know, been on a lot of those Pokemon drugs, you know, my Sceptile is like 4 times as strong in terms of like health, just the health pool in general, and then even his other stats are just way stronger, and he's only 20 levels up in comparison. So it's kind of like questionable choices, I guess. Sceptile's just stronger than Rayquaza. That's, you know, that's how the games worked. That's how it used to work. If you just drugged your Pokemon, they would just be hella strong because there was no stat cap, I believe. Or the stat cap was extremely high. It's one of those two. But yeah, no, it's just a weird design decision, I guess. Other things that bother me, God, there's like friend areas. Not that they exist. I don't really care that they really exist. Why can't I purchase multiple of them at the same time? Why can't I just purchase the whole fucking store if I have enough money? Why do I have to sit there and wait for them to finish the camps, we all love camps thing? And it's like, I get it, but like, can you just let me purchase everything instead of giving me a 30-minute cutscene? Because I sit in that shop for longer than I need to be. It's just a weird decision because you can multi-select in Kangaskhan storage, so why can't I multi-select for shop? Multi-selection for shops is a normal thing for majority of video games nowadays. ways, or at least it happens a lot quicker than having this like random scene in the middle that kind of slows you down through the process. Makuhita's dojo is incredibly broken, but in defense of that, if you don't want to be over leveled, then don't use it. If you're under leveled and need to level up a little bit, then use it. You know, it's not a necessary thing, so I don't think it's a big of a problem. Aside from that, I guess there isn't too much else I have to say about this game. Maybe that the walking animations are still a little bit weird, and I did like the way they took the IQ skills from the original game and made them into kind of like exclusive skill, or not exclusive skills, but you can only use one of them at a time, and that helps because it means like every Pokemon can have that skill. Like there's no limitation now. So Cubone's not the only one in IQ group, what was it, I or whatever, who can bust down walls and stuff. Any Pokemon can get that skill. But, you know, it's a matter of RNG, which could be better, could be worse, up to your interpretation. Ultimately, I think Mystery Dungeon DX is a decent game. I had fun with it, but at the same time, there are just so many weird choices in the design of this game that make me kind of curious as to why they chose to go this route with some of the things in the gameplay. Also, some of the stuff just takes way too long. Like, being able to, like, when a Pokemon raises its stats, in the regular main series games, I expect it to take that long for them to raise all their stats. It makes sense because that's a more competitive environment. In Mystery Dungeon, with the scrolling text box and stuff, why do they have to show each individual stat increase like that? Why can't they just show all the stats and then speed? Because speed kind of acts differently in Mystery Dungeon games. But whatever. I guess overall, if you want an arbitrary number score, there it is. And yeah, I guess that's my review. I enjoyed it. Decent game. Far from perfect, and I hope to God that if they remake Explorers of Time, Darkness, Sky, first of all, I hope they go with Sky, because it has Explorers of Time and Darkness plus the Sky content. And yeah, that's really about it. Alright.